Good afternoon and welcome. This afternoon I'm in conversation with Dr. John Morrissey. Dr. Morrissey is the course coordinator of CK402. Hello, John, you're very welcome.
Hi, Jane, nice to be chatting.
Will you tell us what is CK402?
Yeah, so CK402 is the program in biological and chemical sciences. So it's one of our largest science entries at UCC. It's what we call an omnibus program because students enter into biological and chemical sciences, but they can choose many different degree outlets. In fact, there's 11 different degree outlets from this program.
And what are those degree outlets?
Okay, so they span three main areas. So biological sciences, and within the biological sciences, there's a number of different degree outlets: biochemistry, microbiology, biotechnology, neuroscience, and physiology. That's one set. Another set are more related to chemical sciences, pure chemistry, chemistry with forensics, and chemistry of pharmaceutical compounds, which is actually a little bit between biology and chemistry. And the third type of degree outlet is science teaching or science education. So it's possible to qualify as a science teacher in either biology or chemistry through this program.
And how long is the degree? If you choose any of those options, how long is the degree?
Yeah, for any of those options, it's a 4-year program for an honours degree.
And why should somebody study biological and chemical sciences at University College Cork?
Okay, so the first reason why anybody should study biological and chemical sciences is because they're really interested in either biology or chemistry, and they think this is something they'd like to know more about. But then, maybe more specifically for our program, I suppose one of the advantages of our program is for somebody who's got an interest in biology or chemistry, but maybe hasn't fully decided yet what exact precise degree they want to do. It's a nice program because in first year, all the options are still available to you. And you don't start specializing in any of the options I mentioned, any of the degree programs, until second year or sometimes third year. So from that point of view, that's one of the very good reasons, I think, to choose this program.
And will the students have exposure to good research?
Absolutely, they will. So I suppose, science is the driver of research at UCC. And within science, the life sciences and the chemical sciences are really strong. So we have a lot of our lecturers are also principal investigators in different research institutes, like the APC Microbiome Institute, or the Solid State Chemistry Institute, or MARI for marine research. And so we have excellent researchers in all the academic units that are involved in teaching the degrees I mentioned. And those lecturers will also be teaching underdegree programs, and they will be bringing their research expertise to bear in the kind of curriculum that they teach. You know, it's hard to give exact numbers because we have a lot of different degree outlets, but I would say somewhere in any given year between 40% and 60% of graduates of the biological and chemical sciences will go on and do some kind of a postgraduate degree. Some of them will do master's programs, and some of them will do PhD programs. Some of them will do those in master's programs that we've got within UCC, whether it's in the chemical sciences or biotechnology and others. And some of them will go to other institutions in Ireland or will go abroad because of opportunities that will be available to them with the qualifications that they have.
So when an individual chooses to do biological and chemical sciences in UCC, they'll be pursuing a 4-year degree. And after the first year, they'll be specializing in one of, you'd say, the 11 areas that they want to pursue. During that period, do they have any possibility of acquiring employability skills? Would there be, for example, work placement opportunities?
So, for example, the BSc in biotechnology or the BSc in chemistry of pharmaceutical compounds, those students will all do placement. For other programs, placements are optional, and students can do a placement if they wish, typically over the summer between third year and fourth year. We have a number of scholarship programs that students can compete for, and there's scholarships to companies like Amgen or Boston Scientific or Janssen. But it's also possible for people to secure placements directly with companies, or sometimes through scholarships from learned societies like the Microbiology Society or the Biochemical Society.
And John, how long would a placement be, the duration of it?
Okay, so the duration depends on the program, because for something like CPC, it's about 5 months. And indeed for biotechnology as well, it's 4 to 5 months is a research placement. For students who do a placement in that gap between third year and fourth year, it's more typical that they will do a 3 to 4 month placement or project in a company.
And how many companies on average would we have involvement with to place our students?
We have maybe 30 companies who are regular partners with us for taking those students. And in terms of the types of companies, if you think of any biopharmaceutical company, you'll be naming them. Janssen, Merck, Lilly, Pfizer, all those big names are all partners of us, and they will host students on placements. But also companies in the food sector, Glanbia, Kerry, Carberry, and many other companies in the general chemistry and life sciences areas that maybe aren't those big multinationals, but they'll be much smaller companies, but still very active, very good employers.
And are there employability skills included in the curriculum, or are they co-curricular or extracurricular?
Okay, so I suppose I would say largely the employability skills are embedded within the activities that students do. Not exclusively, because for the formal placements, students will get some training on certain skills to help with interviews and so forth. But more broadly within the program, a lot of the skills that students will develop, especially in third year and fourth year, when they're doing independent research projects, they will get a lot of skills in data analysis, in communication and presentation of results, both written and oral, in problem solving, and in the general scientific method. And that's a very generic statement, but it's one of the really very important employability skills that scientists have that a lot of other disciplines don't have. Because the difference between the way a scientist will think after they've had the experience of scientific education and a non-scientist is the reliance on data and evidence, because that's what we do. And so this capacity to look for evidence and data and to analyze it and to present the findings of that, these are core skills that we teach our students as they go through their degree. And they get those skills actually by doing them, because that's what they do in their research projects. All of our students have the opportunity to engage with the careers service in UCC. And within our program, we bring the career service in very early. Now, this is voluntary, students don't have to do it, but the career service will mentor students. We will set up one-to-one meetings and group sessions even from first year and definitely from second year on, to help students identify what are the things that they should be doing to make themselves more employable. Because, of course, that's very important.
The graduate attributes program here in UCC, where we talk about 5 different attributes and embedded in them then the core values. But the first one that springs to mind is creators, evaluators, and communicators of knowledge. And, digitally fluent, independent, and critical thinking. So it's key from what you're saying, and clear from what you're saying, that the students that pursue the CK402 route, that these attributes are firmly embedded in them, and therefore they are fitting very well for potential employment and so on. What is the rate of employment? Are most of our graduates employed after their degree?
Yes, is a straight answer. I suppose they are all employed after their degrees. I would come back to the point I made earlier, which is, maybe 40 to 60% in any given year decide to do a postgraduate degree, a master's or a PhD. But then of the students who don't decide to do that, the vast majority do want to get a job straight away. And the vast majority do want to get a job in their area, in their discipline, in science. And for those students, really the employability rates are very high. UCC conducts surveys after a number of months to find out where are our graduates, because of course we want to know whether our graduates are succeeding in industry or not. And what we find when we do that is that a number of graduates in any particular degree who isn't working in their sector and isn't doing a master's or PhD, it's very low percentages, single digits.
And do we involve employers in delivering guest lectures, on advisory panels and so on?
We do, and we don't do it on a completely systematic basis. It tends to be on a program by program basis. But all of the degrees will bring in individual guest lecturers within modules. A module is a course on a particular topic. And usually what you will find is, especially in the final year, on any given course, you might have one or two of the lectures given by an industry expert. On top of that, I mean, in certain programs, we have much more extensive engagement. So for example, in biotechnology, there's one module entirely delivered by industry representatives with some academic oversight. And in fact, all of those industry representatives are graduates of UCC CK402 program, and now they're working in companies like Janssen and Eli Lilly and companies like that, and they're kind of giving back by delivering this program for us.
And John, give an example of the types of jobs that the graduates have, interesting careers.
When I look at the job titles that we would see things like production scientist, we would see things like technology expert, or we would see quality assurance analyst. So the titles tend to be things like analyst, technologist, scientist. Often they don't tell you exactly what the person is doing, but they'll tell you the kind of skills that they're using. That they're using technical laboratory skills, like biochemical skills or chemical sciences skills. But almost always there'll be some element of analysis or oversight in that job as well.
And I think it's probably fair to say that many people who have science degrees coming through the CK402 route have branched out into careers that aren't necessarily and very obviously in the science world. A lot of people in management, a lot of people in communications, and so on. So they're very good basic degrees from which you can springboard into other professions.
The skills and the qualifications coming out of CK402, they're global skills and qualifications.
When you're going through CK402, are there any specific clubs or societies that the students migrate to?
There are, and again, it depends on, I suppose, where your affinity lies. There's two societies that I see a lot on campus, the Chemical Society and the Science Society. Now, the Chemical Society, I guess, does, as its name suggests, it's chemists, and they organize a lot of activities which aren't exclusively chemistry based. That's another thing societies often do. Students like to go on trips, I've discovered. And so they will like to usually visit a company where you have to stay overnight. So these societies they're very useful for students actually, because they tend to have students at different years. So they're not just first years, they're not just second years. So it does mean that students interact with, I suppose, their peers who are maybe a bit ahead of them in the system, and they can learn from that experience as well. And sometimes they can help them decide what particular route they want to go down themselves or what route they don't want to go down. So these societies, I think, are very important.
Are there any preconceived notions that are not correct?
So I suppose sometimes one of the preconceived notions that students have when they come to biological and chemical sciences is that they will have decided before they come that they're going to do a particular degree. They'll have decided, I really like microbiology, I'm going to go and do biological chemical sciences. And one of the things that we say to students very early on is not to abandon your dreams, because dreams are great, but to open your mind. And don't be afraid to change your mind, because when students come into this program, they will be exposed to disciplines maybe that they never even heard of. And they'll be exposed, certainly even in the disciplines they heard of, they'll be exposed to things that they didn't know about. So I would say that there's great camaraderie develops among students in these programs. The camaraderie, I suppose, comes along through a shared interest in science, but for sure then shared experiences and challenges and opportunities in the research labs.
John, thank you very, very much for that excellent overview of CK402. We wish you continued success and hope to see some of you coming on board to study CK402 at University College Cork. Thank you.
Employability and career development initiatives are delivered through curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Over 90% of our programmes offer placements internationally and nationally. Throughout your time in UCC, you will have the opportunity to develop employability skills through entrepreneurship modules, skill sessions and memberships of clubs, societies, becoming a class representative and getting involved. Throughout your student journey, UCC Career Services will support your career planning with one-to-one career consultations and coaching. The Career Services collaborate with academic departments and other UCC units to deliver bespoke and standalone employability and career-related workshops and events for all students and recent graduates. Our annual recruitment fair is one of the largest national career fairs, featuring up to 100 top graduate employers. For more information about UCC employability initiatives and the career services, visit ucc.ie/careers.